a reading from Avalanchians 11:29. And on the day of his number, McKinnon will not be denied his goals, and he who tries to deny him shall be cast out and shall feel shame. Avs win over the Winnipeg Jets 3.5 to 2 in overtime. With the captain suspended 4 games and Winnipeg being a strong team to this point this year, you knew this was going to be a tough game for the Avs, and right out of the gate it was all Winnipeg in the first half of the first. 2 minutes into the game, the Avs would take the first penalty. Luckily, they do manage to kill that one off, and then they do get a few rush chances of their own, including a Rantanen ringing one off the post for the 14th post of the season. But from there, it was right back to all Winnipeg as they seemingly brought it in and held it in the Avs zone at will. After Winnipeg spends nearly a full minute in the Avs zone running the defense ragged, they eventually manage to break through. The Avs have already been in their own zone for far too long. Barberio finally gets clean possession of the puck for a little bit down deep behind the Avalanche net. He really needs to get this one out and opts to try and blast it through the 2 bodies in the corner. It gets caught up there, allowing Winnipeg to regain possession, and from there the tired Avs defense can't really keep up. The puck goes back to the point and is going to come across to the far circle, which then gets tapped up back to the center point for a one-timer. While that is happening, Mark Barberio in front is getting dominated for position here. Varley ends up getting perfectly screened as Josh Morrissey throws a shot in from the high point. Varley never really sees it. The shot has eyes and finds its way through. So now you're strapping in because this could be a long one as Winnipeg continues to dominate out the other side of that power play, and it looks like the Avs could be giving up a lot of goals tonight. Until, with about 8 minutes left in the period, Winnipeg takes a penalty of their own. And the Avs are at home here, so the power play is in fact allowed to swing the momentum back into their favor. The Avs are going to go around the horn on this one, starting with Rantanen to Kerfoot, back up to Barrie, and Barrie eventually over to McKinnon on the other side on this power play. From there, McKinnon is going to hold it for a bit and then opt to take the shot himself. What makes this successful is first, McKinnon gets his shot on net, creating a rebound off of Hellebuck. Second, the Avs have 2 players right in front. Rantanen immediately in front, and then Compher crashing from the slot. Compher is going to be the one to find this rebound, and he's going to throw a backhand shot back at Hellebuck. At this point, Hellebuck is unprepared. While it does hit him, it creates a secondary rebound. And from there, you have Kerfoot crashing in from the far side, unattended, because it's the power play, to put it into the empty net as Hellebuck tries to shake his helmet off. It was a bit of an interesting play to see Hellebuck shake his helmet off like that, and initially I did think, maybe they should have blown the whistle to protect the goalie there. But upon watching the replay, you could see that Hellebuck stays in the play despite the strap on his helmet coming off, until he looks over to his side and sees that Kerfoot has a wide open net to shoot it into. At that point is when he decides to give up on the play and shake his helmet off, so calling this a good goal I think was correct. And once again for the Avs, it's the rookies doing work, moving their feet and going to the dirty areas of the ice. This isn't the first time that Compher and Kerfoot have connected right in front of the net to get a dirty goal like that. As a rookie, Kerfoot sits in the top 5 in scoring for the Avalanche. That's a really strong performance from him. Granted, he's shooting a ridiculous 32% right now, so that's probably not sustainable, but it's still good to see him producing consistently. From there, the momentum in the rest of the first was all Avs. They would get another power play shortly after, and while it didn't look their best, it didn't drag them down either. They would end up winning the possession and shot battles throughout the period, despite the poor play in the first half of it. To cap off the period, Carl Soderberg would rip one that nicks off of Hellebuck and ends up hitting the crossbar, and now we're up to 15 posts on the season. So a bit of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde once again for the Avalanche, but you'll take the 1-1 tie heading into the first intermission. The second was a bit of a weird period. The Avs do come out with some of that momentum they had at the end of the first, but that eventually gets taken over by Winnipeg as they go back to holding the puck in the Avs zone fairly effectively. After the 5-minute mark of the period, things would even out and would remain so for most of the rest of the game, at least as far as possession goes. And then about halfway through the period, things would get weird with penalties. Como would take one with a little bit more than 10 minutes left to go in the period. And on the delayed penalty, Tyler Myers would close his hand on the puck trying to make a play off of it, offsetting them for a 4-on-4. Following that up about a minute later, Eric Johnson would take one of the most obvious slashes we've seen all year, breaking the guy's stick in half, so we would go to 4-on-3 for a minute. Right as that 4-on-3 expires, Winnipeg would get caught on another penalty, creating it back to 4-on-4 instead of having a power play off of the rest of Johnson's penalty. So Winnipeg basically squandered a great chance for themselves by taking silly penalties. We'll take it. The back half of the period was a bit boring. The Avs would get some good chances, particularly the rookie line was driving into the zone deep and creating, but they were seeming to struggle to hit the net or shooting it right into Hellebuck, as often happens with the Avs. Jost in particular was doing a very good job at getting deep in front of the net and creating good opportunities for himself, but would then not put it on net. Both teams would get out of the period without giving up a goal, but the Avs do take a penalty late in the period that would carry over for a little less than a minute into the third. After killing off the rest of the penalty to start the third, the Avs would get what was probably their best chance of the night. Nieto cuts through the neutral zone and makes a good move to get into the offensive zone. He then puts a good shot onto Hellebuck that creates a rebound out to the near side. From there, Lindholm is streaking in towards the net and basically has a wide open net to put the puck into. This is what Lindholm was looking at. Literally all he has to do is touch this puck with his stick and he's gonna get a goal. Somehow, whether it's the defense of the Jets player or Lindholm just whiffs it, he doesn't get anything on it and it's not a goal. You just know misses like that are gonna come back to haunt you. A minute later, there are matching minors handed out, which didn't really make any sense. Nieto ends up tripping a Winnipeg player and the puck comes to Blake Como after that, who plays it and then gets tripped. The problem is here, Nieto's penalty should mean that the whistle blows as soon as Blake Como touches it. It didn't for some reason, and that means that they got to call the trip on Winnipeg as well. Just a weird situation that really the Avs benefited from, as it's 4-on-4 now instead of the Avs being on the penalty kill. And on the whole, I would say this game was just weirdly, if not poorly, refereed. It just got weird at the end. They decided to put their whistles away after this missed call for the most part. Eventually, Winnipeg would force their hand and take another penalty that they had to call, but there were a lot of missed things going on both sides. And really, it being a 5-on-4 or 4-on-4 for Winnipeg, it didn't matter. They would take advantage anyway. The Avs get torn apart on this play. First, Compher gets blown past as if he's standing still at the blue line. That allows Ehlers easy entry into the zone and a lane to put a shot on Varley. Varley kicks the rebound right out immediately in front, so now the onus is on Lindholm to play strong in front and prevent Little from getting a quality chance. It seems like Lindholm didn't realize that the puck is coming right out to him, and Little does manage to muscle through him to get to the puck and get another attempt on net. As he's making his attempt, Varley is going to reach out to try and glove the puck right here, but Little gets back to the puck again, and Compher can't get there in time to assist. At that point, Varley is hung out to dry, and it's easy for Little to slip it behind him. That was a tough sequence for everyone, but particularly for Lindholm. 2 minutes ago, you were saying he was having a quiet night and doing just fine for his return to the lineup. Then he misses a free goal and ends up being a direct cause of giving one up. All of a sudden, his night is looking rough. You knew it was going to be tough from there, and in the immediate after that goal, the Avs are clearly struggling, not really finding a way to generate much in the offensive zone. Even with a power play opportunity, the Avs don't generate anything. They seem to have been falling back into old ways of sticking to the power pass and no one actually wanting to shoot the puck. That eventually leads to the Avs taking a penalty of their own with 11 minutes left in the game, and you're thinking that that could be the end right there. But for some reason, penalty kills when the Avs are down by one in important situations seem to be where the Avs bring out their best. Not only do the Avs manage to kill that penalty, but they turn it into something even better. The puck is currently floating down from up in the air, and Como is chasing. It gets a little bit sloppy, but he does a good job of retaining possession of the puck, beating out two Jets players to do so. From there, he's going to hit Zadorov skating up past him through the neutral zone, and Zadorov is going to do his best Nathan MacKinnon impression. Raise your hand if you didn't know Nikita Zadorov had that in him. If you didn't raise your hand, I don't believe you. This was fantastic to see for Zadorov as he's now stringing together some games, and a lot like last year, he's starting to see his offensive production uptick a bit as well as he's gaining confidence. As he puts himself in a good position to earn bigger and bigger minutes, it's solidifying our D-core more and more. So the Avs tie it back up with 8 minutes to go, and from there, Winnipeg starts pushing like crazy. They get a ton of shot attempts and dominate the possession for pretty much the rest of the game. As I already mentioned, the refs did put some whistles away, and both teams were kind of clawing all over each other for the rest of the game to play this one out. That is until the dying seconds of the game when Winnipeg clearly puts 6 men out on the ice, and even the refs put their whistles away, have to call this one. So not only do the Avs claw a point out of this one, but they get a power play for 4-on-3 in overtime. It doesn't take long in overtime, just about 30 seconds in. McKinnon is going to throw a shot towards the net. It bounces perfectly off of Winnipeg defender Josh Morrissey's stick and in past Hellebuck. And the Avs don't win yet because Tyson Barrie was offsides. I'm not really going to argue this one much. He was offsides, and regardless of how he ended up offsides, the rule is it's not a goal if your player was offsides. That's the rules. If you want to argue the rule is stupid, that's up to you, but it was the correct call based on the rule book. But for once, a taken away goal for the Avs is no big deal. McKinnon says, no problem, I'll just do it again. Kerfoot does a good job pulling up with the puck at the half boards and going back down the boards to create a nice opening to get across ice to McKinnon with the puck. From there, McKinnon has plenty of time to pick his spot, and he ends up shooting it wide here, or it's targeting wide, but Josh Morrissey, again, standing right in front. This time, it's going to go off his rear end and right into the net. Scoring off a Winnipeg defenseman for the second time, this one would not be taken away, and McKinnon gets what he wants. That puts McKinnon in a tie for 10th in points in the league, and he has at least one game in hand on everybody in front of him. Not only that, but that was McKinnon's 3rd game-winning goal of the season. The kid is just a dream right now. And that's that. The Avs played a relatively even game with one of the better teams in their division, and they came away with 2 points. Sure, it wasn't perfect, but every game has their mistakes, and you have to be happy with the W here. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. The Avs go again on Friday as the battle of Alex Kerfoot versus Will Butcher continues against New Jersey. I'm Rudo3, and Alex Kerfoot has more points than Ryan O'Reilly.